I know Iceberg stopped being cool like a year ago, but screw it, I'm doing an Iceberg for Ben frickin' 10. Let's go! Ultimate Alien Force Ben is Gwen without lips. Starting off strong, this meme surfaced on the internet after fans realized that Ben and Gwen's character designs are virtually identical, aside from Gwen having thicker lips. Ben has more than 10 aliens. This one is known by most people, even non-fans, when in the classic series they came up with more and more aliens like Cannon, Bolt, and Upcha, which meant the name Ben 10 was no longer accurate. Live-action movies and console games. There have been 2 live-action movies, Race Against Time and Alien Swarm, as well as tons of console games like Ben 10 Protector of Earth, Generator Rex, and Secret Society's crossover. In Ultimate Alien, Ben had a crossover with Generator Rex, and did it again very recently in Ben Gen 10 from the reboot. I've reviewed both, by the way. And they had a crossover episode in Omniverse with the Secret Saturdays called TGIS. Ben becomes older than 10. In the classic series, Ben is 10 years old for the most part, and with the continuations airing, he ages to 15, then 16 in Ultimate Alien and Omniverse. Only actually rebooted once, 3 continuations. Ben 10 was continued 3 times after the original, with Alien Force, Ultimate Alien, and Omniverse filling the main canon, and being rebooted back to 10 years old with the 2016 reboot. Jeffrey. This one is a subtle reference to the first episode of Ultimate Alien where Jimmy Jones calls Jet Ray Jeffrey in the episode Fame. Cartoon Network Flash games. This one refers to old Flash games for the show back on the Cartoon Network website, like Savage Pursuit or Kraken Attack. I remember playing these when I was younger, and most of them are really nice. Let me know in the comments if you played any of these Flash games. I used to play Savage Pursuit and Ultimatrix Unleashed. It's all a dream theory. I'm not exactly sure what this one is. I guess it's one of those stupid coma Reddit chains where people say what they think would happen if Ben woke up without the Omnitrix. I'm not too sure. As far as I know, most fans don't like this theory, and it's only reserved for the biggest memers on the internet. Master Control in 1,000,093. Master Control is one of the coolest aspects of Ben 10, giving Ben the ability to transform at will simply by thinking it, being able to switch from alien to alien, including all 1,093 transformations, and not having a timeout setting. Omnitrix timer being 10 minutes, then power-based. This one's pretty self-explanatory. The Omnitrix used to have a 10-minute timer in the original series, but later was power-based, meaning it had to recharge based on how many aliens you used and how much power that alien needed to do its thing. That's why turning into way bigger alien X took more power than nanomech or goop or something. Celestial Sapiens caused retcons. Celestial Sapiens, the species of Alien X, had a lot of retcons in the franchise. Originally, Alien X was not the most powerful alien in the Omnitrix, but later was shown to be absorbable by Osmosians like Agregor to grant them basically unlimited power. There are also other minor retcons, like how in Ultimate Alien Force, only 2 of the 3 beings need to agree, while in Omniverse it's changed to 3. There are also other things, like how they originally said the Celestial Sapiens spent all their times debating and deliberating, and in Omniverse it was revealed that they do other things, like the art style changes in the franchise. Long story short, Alien X is way too complicated. Ultimate Alien showcased Stockholm Syndrome. In Ultimate Alien, the character of Jennifer Nocturne is shown to have Stockholm Syndrome, which is a condition where victims begin to sympathize with their abusers. In Catch a Falling Star, she is seen to sympathize with Nesmith even after he murders innocent people. Ben has eidetic memory, Gwen has claustrophobia, Kevin is a master detective. These were interesting to research. Ben has a photographic memory, as shown when he memorized the magic symbols and where the magic happens. Gwen is claustrophobic because of a line she says in Inferno.
I am so not claustrophobic. I just can't stand being in tight, close spaces, okay? You have a problem with that?
And Kevin is a master detective because he was able to analyze a crime scene very accurately in Ultimate Agregor. Max also complimented Kevin at one point, saying he'd be a good police officer or detective. Canon white supremacy inbreeding. This is basically referencing how the hybrid think they're the superior race and all other races are inferior, much like white supremacists. The initial Omniverse backlash / reboot backlash. This is pretty self-explanatory. Omniverse initially had a backlash for its different art style before it grew on fans, and the newly ended Ben 10 reboot faced criticism for being a terrible lazy baby show. Jack Kirby inspirations. Jack Kirby, who wrote a lot of Marvel comics, was a major inspiration for Ben 10. That's why Ben's middle name is also Kirby. Ink Tank or Kuro the Artist. I think most Ben 10 fans know Kuro the Artist or the Ink Tank. I've followed them since the very beginning. They're legends who keep the spirit of Ben 10 alive. They also have a comic called 5 Years Later. Dial H for Hero or Shazam connections. Dial H for Hero was an old DC comic about a guy dialing a ring to transform into superheroes, which sounds really analogous to the concept of Ben 10. And Shazam is Shazam. Shellhead, Sandbox, and Snake Pit. These 3 aliens are very obscure and very few people know of them. Back in the classic episode Ken 10, Shellhead, Sandbox, and Snake Pit are aliens that are mentioned in Ken's Omnitrix. this day, we haven't really seen them in the show, but in 2020 they were unofficially designed by Thomas Perkins. Non-canon aliens: Squid Stricter, Thriller Whale, Bunchy Sponge. These are more obscure aliens that never made it on, but basically, Squid Stricter actually appeared multiple times in plays: Power of the Omnitrix and Ben 10 Live: The Rise of Villion, and according to Derek J. Wyatt, was unlocked after Ultimate Alien. Thriller Whale has music powers and is a reference to the Michael Jackson song Thriller. It never made it past the concept stage. Bunchy Sponge was came up with by Matt Wayne as a joke in 2013, during Omniverse's run, and was later designed by Tom Perkins like the rest of these. Fusion Fall. Fusion Fall was the Cartoon Network crossover game, which also featured Ben 10. You can even see a little cute forearms on the cover. Mark Hamill and Chris Pratt played characters. Mark Hamill played Maltrun in Omniverse, and Chris Pratt played Cooper in Ultimate Alien. You're welcome. Parodies of Napoleon Dynamite and Point Break. This one's pretty simple. Clyde 5 from Omniverse has a very strong resemblance to Napoleon Dynamite, who shares the same voice actor, John Heder. And the Omniverse episode Point Break is a reference to the movie Point Break. Gwen. This is a ship between Ben and Gwen. I don't know exactly what it's referencing, but there's tons of creepy fan art online. Ben's future changes when he interacts with it. This was said when Ben wanted to fight Vilgax with George Washington, which is that if Ben interacts with something when time traveling, he would change his future. Robot Chicken or Mad Parodies. These are all on YouTube. The Robot Chicken one in particular is really funny, and the Ben 10 Franklin one is really interesting, to say the least. Unofficial bootleg Flash games. Ben 10's had a lot of bootleg Flash games. You can find them all over the place. That one pregnant Gwen sticker. This disgusting monstrosity. Decimus Prime. This is a Transformers design of a Ben 10 alien designed by Derek J. Wyatt on a live stream in 2020. Rumored live-action TV show. This was rumored in 2019 that a live-action Ben 10 show would come out starring Tom Holland. Fans have loved the idea, but nothing has made it so far. Omnitrix failsafe won't let Ben die. In New Dawn from Omniverse, it is revealed that the Omnitrix has a failsafe that doesn't allow Ben to die. This was hinted at before this, but proven here when the universe explodes in his frickin' face. Power scaling fanbase. There are a lot of videos out there power scaling every alien, Alien X, and many other things, since Ben 10 has so much lore. Name only non-canon aliens: Thug, the Zilch. These are more obscure and unofficial aliens, only being hinted by name by Matt Wayne and Derek J. Wyatt in 2013. Death Battle and Green Lantern. This was a death battle made a few months back between Ben and Green Lantern. The fight itself has a lot of flaws, but fans are still grateful that it was made. Ben and Gwen are both born on December 27th. While in the classic episode Camp Fear, it is revealed that Ben and Gwen have the same birthday, December 27th. This is also a reference to how the first episode of the classic series aired on December 27th. Bootleg toys and merchandise. Having sold many toys and merchandise over the last 16 years, Ben 10 has also spawned a lot of bootleg toys and merch that were sold privately on the street or online. Monsters Inc., Transformers, Teen Titans. Derek J. Wyatt was the art director for all three of these shows. That's why there are many references to them in Omniverse. Billy and Mandy crossover. In Ken 10 from the classic series, one of Kenny's friends is a reference to Billy from Billy and Mandy. He also appears in episodes of Omniverse. I-10 User Experience Found Media. This one's awesome. Back in 2008, they made this special as a way to interact with fans, introduce lore, and promote Alien Force, which was going to air days later. Fans all created custom versions of it, which are all on YouTube today. Rumored Kevin Reboot Show. There was a Kevin Reboot Show rumored a while back, but it's nothing more than a rumor. Planned Omniverse, -10, and Galactic Road Trip. There was a planned 9th season of Omniverse, continuing the line that Ben 10 says at the end, saying that they're going to go on a road trip. This would have ended things the way they started in the classic series, but the line at the end basically does the same thing. According to Derek J. Wyatt, the show still had 2 more planned seasons, but it was cancelled due to low toy sales, ironically. Hyperscan Game. Ben 10's first introduction to video games ever was in the form of this Hyperscan game. I haven't personally played it, but from the pictures I've seen, it looks pretty cool. Ben and Gwen were initially classmates, then siblings, then cousins. I didn't know this, but in early stages of production, Gwen was just a classmate and friend of Ben, and originally never even came on the road trip, according to the wiki. Ponytail/mushroom Gwen shirt. In early concept designs, Gwen had longer hair and wore a raglan shirt with a mushroom on it. This was later changed due to drug allegories. I don't really get it, but hey, the cat doesn't bother me. Pre-Omniverse Rise of Heroes game. This was a PC MMORPG game that was cancelled for reasons unknown in 2011. It was one of the best games according to many fans, and was also the first Ben 10 online PC game. It's not around anymore, but you can find gameplay videos on YouTube. Alien Swarm is only semi-canon. This one's very debatable. According to many sources, Alien Swarm's events are very much canon, and definitely not non-canon, including the introduction of nanomech and things like that. However, a few small things have been retconned for people to make this assumption. CN City bumpers and weird commercials. Lots of Cartoon Network bumpers and commercials, including Ben 10, are on YouTube. They're pretty cool. Human, dolphin, elephant, and mouse transformations. Dolphins, mice, and humans are the only 3 Earth-inhabiting transformations that are believed to be in the Omnitrix database, or the codon stream. Derek J. Wyatt confirms this pointless fact at one point, and fans disputed whether the 4th animal should be elephants, birds, insects, or other animals. Intended Gwen 10 spin-off. This one's pretty cool, but never made it past the concept stage. Between the ends of Ultimate Alien and the start of Omniverse, there were ideas thrown around about a Gwen 10 spin-off, in which it was known that Charmcaster would play a similar role to Kevin in Alien Force. This is why they softened her in Ultimate Alien, and would have been pretty cool. But I really don't think a Gwen show would have been cool or sell enough toys to make the networks care. Planets Morotezi, Vezda, Volponic Tortugans. Morotezi is the supposed home planet of crystal sapiens, like Chromastone, but is simply not true and just a legend, rumored by the Vilgax Attacks video game from 2009. The true planet of crystal sapiens and petrosapiens is Petropia. Zvezda used to be a rumor as the home planet of the celestial sapiens, or alien nexus, until it was retconned in the Forge of Creation. Fun fact, Zvezda means star in Bulgarian, Serbian, Russian, Macedonian, and many other languages. As for Volpinic Torgatans, they are a Sabian subspecies of Arburian Pelarotas, or cannon bolts. CN Action Pack Comics. There were a ton of non-canonical Ben 10 comics. That's about it. Gwen's mom's changing name. Gwen's mom, Natalie, was originally intended to be named Lily in the original series. Wildmutt's Quill Attack and Accelerate Static Shock. Apparently, Wildmutt had the power to shoot quills from his back, Arch-It style, but it wasn't implemented in the franchise. As for Accelerate, I couldn't find much on this, but Kinosalarans can build up large amounts of electricity, which reacts badly with water, but this also hasn't been in the show. Hot Dog Transformation. Hot Dog! Weird Derek J. Wyatt comments. Sir Toctic. Art director Derek J. Wyatt makes a lot of weird comments on Twitter and on streams, but this one is in reference to one of his comments where he made a weird joke about Chronosapiens. Dr. Animo is 5'6". Animo is a short motherfucker. Sea of Ashes Secret 3D Movie. I did not expect this one on here. As some of you know from another of my videos, I'm originally Persian, and I already reviewed SpongeBob in Tehran, a bootleg Iranian movie that was made just a few years back. This is literally just like that, except with Ben 10. I watched it all myself because I obviously understand all the dialogue, and I might just make a review of this someday, who knows. It's actually very well made aside from the graphics, and you can find it on YouTube with a few hundred views. There's also archived 3D models of some of the parts online, which are all really cool. I would recommend supporting this movie in any way you can, even though I couldn't find a version with the subtitles. I don't know why Iran in particular always has these weird illegal mockbusters, but it's really cool to see. So thank you to whoever made this Iceberg for showing me that this exists. Anyway, let's move on. Ben10toys.net. Well, this website doesn't work anymore, but using the Wayback Machine, you can see it's basically a fan site selling toys and merch. Ben kissed DNA samples from Gwen. Eunice, from that one Ultimate Alien episode, was a Unimatrix that had DNA samples from Gwen, meaning that when she kissed Ben, Ben technically kissed Gwen. Well, they didn't kiss, so you can shut up about this. Ben 10 Hero Generation. This was originally the name for Alien Force before they came up with that better name. This was later joked about in the Alien Force series finale. Ben 10 Evolutions. Ben 10 Evolutions was the original name along with Ben 10 Ultimatrix for Ultimate Alien. The Evolutions name clearly references the show's evolutionary function. Ben 7 Indonesian Ripoff. Another international ripoff of the show, and this one is in live action with some really bad CGI. Destroy, Build, Destroy Kevin's Car. Kevin's car might be the most famous running gag of Ultimate Alien Force, where Kevin is always working on his car only for it to be destroyed or damaged during a fight. I don't know why it's on the list, but it's definitely a noteworthy meme in Ben 10. There's literally compilations on YouTube of him talking about his car. Green Needle. Green Needle was a YouTube video of a Brainstorm Omnitrix toy, where when the toy says Brainstorm, it also remarkably sounds like he's saying Green Needle. This was a Yanni and Laurel type of video, and changed based on what you're listening for. It later became an alien in 5 years later. Power of the Omnitrix Time Machine. Long story short, Power of the Omnitrix was a mobile game with tons of info on YouTube, and Time Machine was a Ben 10 live play. Charmcaster is a repeat pedo. This one is referencing how Charmcaster dated Darkstar with a large age gap when he was in high school. But I mean, Charmcaster can literally magically change her age to whatever she wants, so who really cares? Ben and Gwen are secretly siblings theory. This is a very dumb fan theory, basically saying that Gwen and Ben are siblings rather than paternal cousins. This might be Maybe because of their similar character design in Ultimate Alien Force, their matching birthday, the fact that Verdona is both of their grandmothers, but there's not much more real evidence to back this up. Pop-up trivia, missing and found. These were cool Easter eggs in the classic series DVDs. A lot of important lore was introduced here, and you can see some things mentioned here before they are said in any episodes. Vilgaxia, Shadow Realm near a Null Void Rift. Murray. I have no idea what this one is, but Vilgaxia is the planet of Vilgaxians, like Vilgax. It is near a system of planets called the Shadow Realm, which is near a Null Void portal of sorts. I don't know what Murray is, but it could be a reference to Cash Murray, who was Ben's school bully character. Infinite Monkey. And finally, last but certainly not least, the Infinite Monkey is a godlike alien made by Dr. Animo in an old Ben 10 comic called Monkey Business. And that was the entire Ben 10 Iceberg completed. I hope you learned something from my torture writing this 9-page script. And please be sure to subscribe for more content, like and share to support, and follow me on Twitter, and join the Discord to talk to some other awesome people about Ben 10. And if you're new, I've got a bunch of other videos on Ben 10 which you can find in the card above or description below. With all that said, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you beautiful ladies and jellyfish next time. Shalom!